You've got that idea, right? The one that keeps you up at night, the one you're scribbling on napkins. But how do you actually turn that spark into a real, living, breathing business? Well, that's the journey we're starting today. We're not just going to talk theory, we're going to build your personal roadmap to becoming an entrepreneur.
All right, you ready to build? Here is our game plan. First, we'll start with the spark. You know, what a business even is. Then, we'll design the blueprint and pick the right structure. After that, we define the mission, find the fuel to get it all funded, and finally, we step into the arena to understand the economy you'll be playing in. Let's do this.
You know, every great entrepreneur starts with the basics. And the most fundamental question of all is this: what exactly is a business? It sounds almost too simple, but getting this right is the absolute foundation for everything else that's going to come next.
Think about your favorite street food vendor. They're not just selling you a snack one time and then disappearing. No, they're there day in and day out, consistently making and selling their stuff. That right there is the continuous part. From the farmer who grows the ingredients to the vendor selling the final product, it's all part of this chain of business, and it's all driven by satisfying a want and, of course, making a profit.
Okay, this slide basically lays out the DNA of a business. You've got the exchange, the buyer, the seller, but look closer at those two intertwined strands, profit and risk. They're completely inseparable. Profit isn't just a reward, it's what you get for taking a gamble. You're betting that people will want what you're selling, that your costs won't suddenly explode, and that a competitor won't just swoop in and steal your thunder. The bigger the risk, well, the bigger the potential reward.
So you get the whole risk and reward thing. Now, let's get practical. What kind of business are you actually going to build? This isn't just about what you sell, it's about the legal wrapper you put around it. And trust me, this is one of the most important decisions you're going to make. It affects everything from your taxes to your personal liability.
These really are the million-dollar questions. Who's in charge? And maybe more importantly, who's on the hook if things go wrong? Your legal structure is the answer. It's what decides if you're the sole captain of the ship or if you're part of a crew. And yeah, it decides if you go down with the ship if it sinks.
Okay, let's look at your first two options. A sole proprietorship is just you. Simple as that. You're the boss, you call all the shots, you keep all the profits. But here's the catch, that unlimited liability. If the business goes broke, your personal stuff, your car, your savings, it's all at risk. A partnership, on the other hand, is like a team sport. You bring in more people, which means more money and more skills. But you have to share control, you have to share the profits, and you're still personally on the hook if things go south.
But what if you want to build an empire? What if you need to raise some serious cash and, protect yourself from all those risks? That's when you need to level up. That's when you need to form a company.
And this is where the real magic happens. A company is like a superhero with the secret identity. In the eyes of the law, it's a separate person. It can own property, sign contracts, it can even get sued. But you, the owner, you're protected. Your personal assets are safe. This is the superpower of limited liability. And it's what allows entrepreneurs to take the huge risks that lead to those huge rewards.
So, you've got your legal shield up. You're ready to take on the world. But what's your mission? What is the ultimate goal of your business? It's not just about making money, it's about what you are actually trying to achieve.
It's the age-old question, isn't it? Is it all just about the money? I mean, of course, profit is essential. It's the lifeblood of your business. But is maximizing every last drop of profit the only thing that matters? What kind of company do you really want to build? One that's all about short-term gains, or one that's built to last for generations?
This table really breaks it down for you. You've got the classic profit maximization model. Make as much money as you possibly can as fast as you can. Then there's the sales revenue maximization strategy, which is all about getting your product in front of as many people as possible, even if it means smaller profits for a while. And finally, you have growth maximization. That's all about building a sustainable, long-term business. There's no single right answer here. It all comes down to your vision.
Okay, you have the idea, the blueprint, and the mission. You've built the engine, but an engine is pretty useless without fuel, right? And in the world of business, that fuel is capital. So let's talk about how you get the funding you need to get this thing off the ground.
Now, this quote from Lord Justice Lindley might sound a bit old-fashioned, but it perfectly captures the core idea of a company. It's just a group of people, coming together, pulling their resources, and working towards a shared goal. It really is a team sport, and everyone's got a stake in the outcome.
So where does all this money come from? Well, here are the traditional routes. You can issue shares, which is basically selling tiny pieces of your company to investors. You can issue debentures, which is kind of like taking out a loan from the public.
You can go the old-fashioned route and get a loan from a bank. Or, once you're up and running, you can reinvest your own profits right back into the business.
But in today's world, especially for a tech startup, the game has totally changed. This is the high-octane fuel that powers real innovation. You have venture capital firms. They're always hunting for the next big thing. You've got angel investors, wealthy individuals who might just believe in you and your idea. And then there's the ultimate goal for so many startups, an IPO. That's when you go public, sell your shares on the stock market. That's the big leagues.
So, you've got your idea, your structure, your mission, and your funding. You are ready to launch. But hold on, your business doesn't exist in a nice, clean vacuum. It operates in a constantly changing, dynamic arena, the economy.
You wouldn't set sail on a ship without checking the weather forecast, would you? The same exact principle applies to business. You have to understand the economic climate you're operating in. Are we in a boom or a bust? Is inflation going up? These are the questions that will ultimately determine whether your business sinks or swims.
The economy basically moves in cycles, a lot like the seasons. You have these periods of expansion, when businesses are growing and jobs are everywhere. And then you have periods of contraction, or recession, when everything slows down. Just understanding these cycles is absolutely key to making smart business decisions.
This is the constant ebb and flow of the economy. You start with prosperity, when everything is booming. Then comes the inevitable slowdown, or a recession. If things get really bad, you could enter a depression. And then finally, you have the recovery, when things start to pick up again. Your goal as an entrepreneur isn't to control this cycle. You can't. It's to build a business that can weather the storms and ride the waves. So there you have it, the complete roadmap, from a late-night idea all the way to a real, functioning business. We've covered the spark, the blueprint, the mission, the fuel, and the arena. The only thing missing is you. So what are you waiting for? What problem are you going to solve? What business will you build? The world is waiting.